Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands up for the business head for Cashews for Olam Food Ingredients, Mr. Jayant Babani.
So I'll not bore you guys with a lot of numbers, but of course the first slide is going to be on numbers. I'm just briefly going to talk about how the snack consumption is looking like right now. So if you look at last 4 years, between 2019 and 24, the market for cashew kernels has grown by 7 to 8% on a CAGR basis. And I think this is a trend which is going to continue as we look into the future. Now, if you compare it with the rest of the food industry, the industry is going at around 2%, 3%. So if you compare it with what cashews and nuts in general are growing at, the trend around health, the trend around well-being is being translated into this additional growth which we are seeing. In 24, the overall kernel exports were at 1.25 million tons, which in RCN equivalent term will be around 5.5 million tons. So there are not a lot of inventories which are sitting on the origins. I think somebody yesterday talked about the inventories being at the destination. That's still a question mark, but we'll continue to monitor how that eventually plays out. But it seems like the last year has been good for the overall industry, the way pricing has moved, and we have seen that the surplus inventories have been wiped out. I think one of the important things is, if you look at one of the charts, that the growth has come across the world. So we are not now talking only about EU and US, but we are also talking about China, Middle East, and rest of the world, rest of the Asia, taking up in a big time. So that is a trend which is going to continue. Some of these markets which are coming from smaller bases are going to grow. And this is not going to be only a market which is dependent on India, US, and Europe going forward. Okay, so I'll just switch gears a little bit. And this is something very close to my heart, so I want to talk about the consumption trends which we are seeing right now. And these are going to be very important as we move forward into this industry. I think in one of the sessions, the women's session, we were speaking about how the growth is going to look like, how are we going to add, more value-add products. And one of the important things which is there around mega trends right now globally, we are looking at, so more and more consumers as Gen Z comes into the foray are looking at a sustainable future. Climate action is real. Climate change is real, and whether you like to believe it or not. And we are looking at the effects of it on cashews as well. The adverse weather events have gone up significantly, and I think that is something which is only going to get worse from here. So there's going to be a lot of work on climate action, and as we were talking on the sustainability panel as well, we'll have to really look into how we can reduce our overall carbon footprint from this industry and globally. Technology, so we all know we work in this industry which is cashews, which is a little bit far away from whatever is happening on the technology side. But with AI, with everything which is happening, I think in future, 10 years from now, we'll all become a technological company who works into agriculture. So it's not going to be like we are going to stay away from it. And a lot of disruption is going to happen across the world and in this industry as well. And as incumbents in this industry, we all have the responsibility to take this up in a big way. And if we don't, then there will be somebody who will come and disrupt this altogether. And this could be one of the technological companies as well. Demography is changing widely, and we are seeing the way age distribution has changed around the world. The family structures have changed. And that is also leading into change in the consumption patterns. So people are consuming in a very different way from what they were earlier. And this is, I think, something which is going to continue as we look into the future. Next one. I think we have seen an effect of it already this year. Tariffs are here, and they are going to be there for quite some time. So political volatility is something which is there, the way we are seeing the governments acting right now. So tariffs between different countries are going to play a huge, huge role overall basis and in our industry as well. The last thing, which is around health and well-being, I think cashews in general, nuts in general, are on trend. People are looking for healthier alternatives. People are looking for living a balanced lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle. And given nuts are on trend, cashews are on trend, this is something which should really complement the consumption going forward. All right, so specifically on food and beverages and how the whole industry is going to to play out. I think these are some of the insights which I really connect with. I think the new consumer who is coming to the foray is really savvy and self-sufficient. So what I mean by that is they're looking at things in a very, very different way from what the earlier generations were looking at. So they are more onto self-support, more onto self-serve. So the product offerings which are going to complement that are going to become very, very big going forward. Quality and integrity, I think there's a trust deficit today. General consumers have with most of the large companies that they are not doing enough. And that is something which is going to grow. And that's why we are seeing these smaller companies who are more, who are talking about the sustainability story, who are talking about the quality being right. They are actually becoming much and much bigger. And I think this is a trend which is going to continue because there is a proper mistrust between the large companies and the consumers. So as an incumbent or as somebody who's in this industry for very long, I think we all have a responsibility to make sure that the integrity of the product, what we are talking, actually goes and aligns with what actually the product is. Authentic connections. Consumers are not just looking at a product at the shelf and then trying to consume it. They are also trying to look back on what the story is. And that's why we are seeing a major uptake in products who are sustainable, who are vegan, who are more talking about the health side of it. And I think that's something which is going to continue. And I can't say it more, but as Cashews, we are on trend, but I really believe we are not doing enough over there. So we really need to see how we can make these stories work, how we can make these stories go out in the world and talk positively about us. The last two ones are more around, again, the health part of it. We really need to see that cashews are healthy, nuts are healthy in general, but I feel the industry somewhere has lagged on latching onto that. There are other products, other companies who have been doing better at this, and I think this is something which will have to all work together. I think somebody said that we probably should have a promotion board. I think that's the need of the hour. We should do it. We are already seeing it in almonds and other nuts, but cashews continue to lag in that. So I think that's something which we should clearly look at and see how we can make it work. Again, consumers are looking at newer products. They are looking at innovative offerings. So forget about all the butters and everything. I think that's already today what we are talking. Going 5-10 years forward, consumers are going to look for innovative products across the shelf. So if you're not innovative, if you don't tell a good story, if you're not sustainable, you will not have a right to stay in the industry. So that's something which is going to continue in the industry. Okay, so we all talk about cashews being primarily a snacking nut. We are slowly seeing it moving into the ingredient side of it. But yeah, so this is a slide. It's a busy slide. Don't take everything from it, but just focus on why the snacking is there. A lot of people still snack to still the hunger, to boost the energy, to reward themselves and things like that. Now, I would like to ask all of you to just go back and think, do cashews actually work on all of these top categories? They do work, but we are still not there. So a lot of people are consuming snacking. Cashews are a part of that, nuts are a part of that in general, but not at the front as we would think about it. So a lot of people now are snacking with a lot of nutritional ingredients which they would like to see in the product. The top remains proteins, fibers, vitamins, minerals, and nuts in general are full of them. And I think this is something which is really, really going to help us. So this is something which is being driven from the consumer side. At the same time, we have to all see that how we can drive it from the industry side. So of course, consumers are asking for these products and the nuts are in general going to grow, but we also have to go and see how we can complement it with a lot of marketing around nuts, a lot of innovation, a lot of innovative products which the consumers would like to have. Okay, so this is again on the ingredient side a little bit. So a lot of people consume snacks. I mean, we all do in this room. And most of the snacks, if you look at them, you will have to go down in that way and then look at the nuts, which are at the bottom. So out of 100 respondents, if only 30 are consuming nuts, and this is again from the developed market, if you try to do this survey globally, then this number will be even lower. So I think we are struggling on that part to promote nuts and to make it higher up in the list. You do see a lot of biscuits, savory snacks, and everything there. Now, with health and well-being at the center of it, I think nuts should eventually move higher. But of course, there's a lot of work to be done over there. Now, a lot of people are consuming ingredients, consuming snacks, nuts in general. But if you look at this, so most of the people are looking for, most of people are looking at, of course, value for money. Price, of course, comes first. Convenience, flavor and taste, and health benefits and nutritional benefits. So this is something which is on trend as far as nuts are concerned, and we should clearly look at this going forward. And I think if you don't remember anything, just remember this, that people are looking for healthier alternatives, and we are right on trend, but there's a little work to be done on that. But I think we have, in general, in nuts, we have latched on to it quite a bit, but in cashews, we still have, I would say, a little bit of longer way to go. You would see cashews, the snacking in Europe would be around 70%. In US, it would be around 60%. In rest of the markets, it's still higher. So the ingredients use of it, if you compare it to, let's say, vis-a-vis almonds, where in EU, almonds would be 70% ingredients and only 30% snacking. So we are still lagging. Of course, different markets have different dynamics. People like to consume different nuts in different ways. But I think we still have a long way to go. So, and that's the only way that we talk about these byproducts, co-products, pieces, a lot of valorization of apple and everything. I think it is only going to come from when we are trying to portray these few things around cost, convenience, flavor and taste, and nutrition, and we really try to go forward with this. Okay, so this is a little bit interesting. So Europe, that way, has been lagging as far as cashew ingredients is concerned, but if you look at last year, most of the innovation on ingredient side has come from Europe. And surprise, surprise, Asia is second and US actually comes third. So there are a lot of products in the market which are coming up around ingredients. And if you look at the major categories right now, and those are around cereals, so you have all seen these energy bars, snack bars, cereals with cashew inclusions. And snacking, of course, so you do see these mixes coming up, the new flavors, the new trends coming around. And of course, the alternative drinks or vegan drinks where cashews are being used. But I think this is also going to change a little bit. I think flavors, taste is going to be at center of it going forward, and we are going to see more and more innovation happening on that side. But yeah, as an industry, we also need to see that how we can promote this going forward. So if all of us go back today and try to take that one thing, or when we are speaking to our customers, when we are speaking to our suppliers, if we all think of that one thing which can actually help promote cashews and ingredients, I think we are going to do this industry a lot of good. Because that is going to increase our overall realization from the cashews in general, and that is going to help this industry go forward. So let's all go back, let's see how we can make this work. But yeah, my work here is done. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jayant sir, for that presentation. And certainly certain stats that were shared there were eye-openers as far as new developments are concerned for cashew as ingredients. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite from Moy International, Singapore, Mr. Sanjay Pandey to present a memento to Mr. Jayant Babani for his time and wisdom on the podium with us.